Oh, this Justin and Blake drama is getting messy, y'all. We just found out that Blake was ready to leave Ryan for none other than Justin, and the receipts just hit the internet. Leaked text messages are painting a whole different picture of Blake and Ryan's so-called perfect marriage, and let's just say, things are not looking good. So, what really went down? And how did Justin Baldoni end up in the middle of this chaos? First things first, the lawsuit. Yes, y'all already know, Blake updated her lawsuit, but so far, it's falling apart. She's trying hard to make her case stick, but the more she talks, the less people believe her. And honestly, Justin came prepared with receipts. He didn't just poke holes in her claims, he shattered them. For example, Blake alleged there was no intimacy coordinator on set, only for Justin to pull out proof that she refused to meet with her. That's why he had to step in and go over the scenes himself. Something Blake later called inappropriate. Then there's the harassment claim. She accused Justin of making her uncomfortable just because he said she smelled good, after she told him she was getting spray tan all over him. If anything, it sounds like she was fishing for a compliment. And now, in a desperate attempt to save face, Blake's new lawsuit is banking on 2 female co-stars backing her up. She's basically saying, if I'm going down, I'm taking y'all with me. Protect their privacy. But the Hollywood Reporter spilled the tea. The 2 women are Jenny Slate and Isabella Ferrer. Jenny's a seasoned actress, while Isabella is still new to the game. Though thanks to this lawsuit, her big debut is already being overshadowed. Blake's team insists these women gave her permission to share their texts in the lawsuit and will back her up in court. Apparently, the updated complaint includes evidence that Blake wasn't the only one accusing Justin of misconduct, alleging multiple people faced threats, harassment, and intimidation. But hold up, let's talk about Jenny's HR complaint for ASEC. It has nothing to do with Justin. Jenny was upset over a New York City apartment she rented during filming. She also claimed Wayfair executive Jamie Heath made her uncomfortable when she asked about her security deposit, and he responded by saying the company would reimburse her. He also talked a lot about motherhood and the sanctity of being a mom, which, what does that even mean? Sources say Jamie had a totally different understanding of their conversation. He thought he was just being helpful. Somehow it got turned against him. And then there's Isabella. She previously praised Justin, calling him an amazing director who made the set feel safe and welcoming. So why is she suddenly a witness against him? Back in May 2023, Justin texted Isabella, hyping her up, "You did awesome today. So happy to be working with you." And what did she say? "Thank you for being a great director and being so wonderful to work with." Fast forward to July, and she was in full fangirl mode. "You are such a wonderful, smart, and sincere director. You created such a comfortable, safe space for me to fully step into this role. I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment. It will stay with me for the rest of my life." She even attached a sentimental, developed photo like this was some core memory moment. And now, suddenly, she's testifying against him. Make it make sense. A lot of folks believe Blake got in Isabella's ear and turned her against Justin. And honestly, it wouldn't be the first time. Let's not forget, Blake admitted to pulling this exact same move back in 2008 when she tried to turn the Gossip Girl cast against Penn Badgley. In an old interview, Blake literally admitted to poisoning the entire Gossip Girl cast against Penn Badgley just because she was mad he got hired. Then, when everyone realized he was actually cool, she had to backtrack. See the pattern? And let's not even get started on Armie Hammer. Say what you want about his messy rep, but even he had beef with Blake, calling her unbearable to work with. There were even rumors she got him fired. And now, suddenly, she's playing the victim. But here's where things get really suspicious. In her lawsuit, Blake claims that on June 8, 2023, another actress told her she had trouble talking to Justin. Blake's response? She said she struggled too, but covered it up by keeping busy. Then, she took it a step further, calling them survivors with shared trauma. The dramatics. But hold up, because literally the next day, June 9th, Blake was texting Justin, casually telling him she was getting him a hot matcha. And then on June 10th, after a rough production week, Justin texted her, thanking her for giving 110% despite everything going on. And what did she say? "Thanks so much for this text. I appreciate your empathy, and I give it in return." So, which is it? Are you a trauma survivor who can barely talk to him, or are you out here delivering him hot drinks and thanking him for being kind? Because the math ain't matting at this point, Justin must be losing his mind over the sheer level of delusion. And get this mess is about to drag on for years because a judge just set the trial date for March 2026. Neither side is even attempting mediation. Justin's lawyer already came out swinging, calling Blake's revised lawsuit filled with unsubstantial hearsay and hinting that people who originally backed her claims are now backing away. And honestly, with the way the facts are looking, can you blame them? The only real evidence Blake seems to have? Ryan Reynolds clowning the whole situation at the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special. Like, girl, this is serious business, and your own man is out here making jokes about it. Little did Ryan know that his SNL skit would quickly turn into a PR disaster, making people side-eye Blake's entire narrative. Because, let's be real, if her claims are as serious as she says, why is her own husband out here turning it into a comedy skit? Even Justin's lawyer called it out, saying, "I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation." And he's got a point. If this was truly a traumatic event, would Ryan really be cracking jokes about it on stage? Now let's get into this tea from Wally Forston, an SNL veteran since 1990. He confirmed that Ryan deliberately changed his joke at the last minute to make it about the lawsuit, meaning this wasn't some off-the-cuff moment. Ryan chose to lean into the drama. And here's where it gets really messy. Blake has been telling everyone that this lawsuit has caused her extreme emotional distress.
That was actually, he had a different line in rehearsal, and he pitched that to replace it. So that was his idea to do it. We wouldn't want to do anything too controversial unless they were in on it. So yeah, that was his line. That was his idea to do it.
Not just for her, but for Ryan and their kids too. And if that's true, then guess what? Her mental health records, as well as those of Ryan and the kids, could be pulled into the case through court discovery. Which means they might have to back up all these claims with receipts. But while Blake is out here saying this has been so devastating for their family, she and Ryan were just on SNL, laughing it up, cracking jokes, and prancing around like nothing ever happened. If they're so unbothered, then their kids are probably just as confused as the rest of us, wondering why mommy and daddy are making a spectacle out of something they swore was so traumatic. Oop, this just keeps getting messy, eh? Now let's talk about the receipts. According to Blake's amended lawsuit, she and others were keeping receipts as far back as May 2023. On May 24th, Blake texted a mutual friend of Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, venting about the workplace drama, saying, "I came home and cried." But here's where it gets suspicious. Blake described Baldoni and Heath as creeps and went on a rant, saying things like, "Keep your hormones to yourself. I don't want your gaze, your words, your tongue, or videos of your naked wife." Girl, what? Then, just 2 days later, on May 26th, Blake officially reported Justin and Jamie's behavior to a Sony executive named Janetti. And according to the lawsuit, Justin. And that's where the drama really starts to unfold. Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni, the messiest Hollywood lawsuit yet. What started as a serious legal battle has quickly turned into one of the most contradictory and messy lawsuits in Hollywood. Blake Lively's latest drama with Justin Baldoni is getting wilder by the day, and this breakdown exposes just how deep the contradictions run. The timeline is getting suspicious according to Blake's amended lawsuit. She first reported Justin and Jamie Heath's behavior on May 26, 2023, after venting to a friend just 2 days earlier. The lawsuit even states that Justin acknowledged these complaints in writing. And within the next 3 days, another female cast member also came forward with similar accusations against Justin. So, the timeline is looking real interesting. But here's where the contradictions start stacking up. Justin's lawsuit claims that Blake constantly threatened to walk away from the project whenever she wanted more control. The production team allegedly had no choice but to agree to her demands to keep things moving. Now, Blake's new lawsuit is clapping back with a defamation claim, accusing Justin and his team of smearing her name since she first filed her complaint. She's even added more people to the lawsuit, including crisis PR manager Jed Wallace, who has direct ties to Justin's legal team. The billionaire drama, messy to sinister, and then we get to this bombshell. Blake's lawsuit alleges that Wayfarer co-founder Steve Sarowitz made disturbing threats about protecting the studio with an extreme level of force. Allegedly, he even referenced a large number of casualties to get his point across. And if that wasn't chilling enough, a witness claims he said, "There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done, minimum." He later tried to clarify that he meant it figuratively. But let's be real, the energy is scary. And let's not forget, Blake's original lawsuit accused Sarowitz of saying he was willing to drop $100 million just to destroy her and her family. Like, is this a movie plot or real life? But here's the thing, what does any of this have to do with Justin? Blake still hasn't provided solid proof of her allegations against him. So now, it's looking like she's trying to take down the entire Wayfarer company. Instead, Justin, on the other hand, is saying that he refused to take accountability for something he didn't do, so he had to rely on his billionaire friend's legal protection. And let's be real, Sarowitz probably figured the legal fees alone would bury Blake and force her into a settlement. Was this all part of a bigger plan? Here's where things get even shadier. Every text from Blake makes it seem like she planned this movie takeover from the start. She wanted these complaints on record, almost like she was setting up Justin for this exact moment. But here's the reality, just because you file a complaint doesn't mean you actually have a case. And at first, people saw things from Blake's perspective. But after digging deeper, the math ain't matting. The breastfeeding contradiction in Blake's first lawsuit, she alleged that Justin barged into her trailer uninvited while she was breastfeeding. But then Justin pulled out text receipts showing that Blake invited him in herself. And suddenly, in her amended lawsuit, she's silent about that claim. Instead, she's pivoting to complaints about creative control over the movie, pulling up Sony executives' emails to back up her version of events. But let's be real, that's not the point. What she's conveniently leaving out is the fact that she repeatedly threatened to walk away whenever she wanted more power over the film, manipulating both Justin and Sony. And guess what? It worked. Justin stayed quiet, letting her do whatever she wanted, because losing her would have been a financial disaster, especially with the budget already stretched thin from her expensive wardrobe choices. The final, biggest contradiction: how did Blake even get the chance to screen her own cut of the film, when she was just an actor with honorary producer credit and no real decision-making power? That's the real question here. The actual director didn't even get to see the final cut until the premiere, but somehow, Blake had enough pull to make it happen. At this point, it's looking like she manipulated the situation to work in her favor, and this lawsuit is just another step in her game. Blake's past interviews are coming back to haunt her. An old Forbes interview recently resurfaced, where Blake admitted to hiding her desire for creative control while pretending to just be an actress in meetings. This has only fueled more criticism, with many saying she prioritized her own creative fulfillment over the actual project itself. Justin has accused her of undermining his authority on set, and he even provided evidence that she demanded constant changes, only to still be unsatisfied. Then, there's the improvised scene controversy. Blake accused Justin of inappropriate behavior during a specific scene, but Justin countered with raw footage showing that he was in character the entire time. At first, she claimed the scene was completely unscripted. But then she adjusted her lawsuit to say it was improvised, which is literally a standard part of acting. Critics have called her out for exaggerating the situation. The Ryan Reynolds connection beyond the lawsuit. Speculation is growing about Ryan Reynolds' influence on Blake's career. There are even claims that Ryan once discouraged her from acting altogether. And let's not forget the sketchy paparazzi moment, where fans were seen holding identical posters with no phones in sight. Like, staged much. Blake's lawsuit also accused Justin of taking credit for the film while downplaying her contributions. But let's be real, from the start, it seems like she was the one pushing for more creative control. So, what's the truth? Blake insisted this lawsuit was about justice, but now people are wondering if this was all just a power move that backfired. At first, she had support, but now? The inconsistencies and deleted receipts are piling up. Even Colleen Hoover, who originally supported Blake, has wiped all traces of her from her Instagram. So, what do y'all think? Is this lawsuit a genuine call-out? Or just someone playing the victim when things didn't go their way?